Love writes the vows. Money builds the world they're said to be in. In the rare air of the world's richest weddings, a relationship isn't marked on a calendar. It's mapped across continents. One chapter unfolds in a palace courtyard under lanterns and mirrored runways. Another lifts off on a charter grid so dense the local tower calls in backup. By the finale, cities have been rented, history has been costumed, and a guest list that reads like a summit has moved with the precision of a concert tour. But how exactly does a wedding become a tour, a brand statement, and a diplomatic reception, all at once? You will understand soon enough. Isha Ambani and Anand Piramal. The night Beyoncé turned a Sangeet into a global headline. Udaipur, December 2018. A postcard city turns into a working set. The pre-wedding weekend plays the overture. The formal ceremony lands at Antilia in Mumbai. On the surface, palaces, couture, fireworks. Underneath, tour-grade logistics. The pivot is the Sangeet. Not background music, a program. Beyoncé delivers a private set, Crazy in Love, Naughty Girl, Perfect, to a few hundred insiders. Fashion desks treat it like a runway. Custom Abujani Sandeep Khosla, a gilded Falguni Shane Peacock bodysuit, stage imagery shot like editorial. By morning, set lists and visuals circulate worldwide. Where exactly? Multiple stages. Vogue India calls the palace soiree at City Palace. Other mainstream reports place Beyoncé's show at the Oberoi Uday Vilas. The defensible read, pageantry at the palace, headliner at the resort. 2 venues, 1 narrative. The guest list reads like a summit. Hillary Clinton and John Kerry are caught on camera dancing Bhangra. Bollywood heavyweights fill the rows. Optics travel fast. Political clout and cinema royalty under architectural drama. Scale shows in the transit. The airport reportedly spikes to 4 times normal traffic. Charters stack. 5 stars become back of house. A custom app pushes maps and timings. Boats shuttle VIPS across Lake Pichola on tight loops. Even the walk from jetty to Mandap is storyboarded. Arrivals, staircase, reveal. Hospitality carries purpose. Alongside spectacle, the families fund Anna Siva, meals for approximately 5,100 people, 3 times a day for 4 days. Artisan support runs in parallel. The signal, generosity and grandeur can share a frame. Numbers remain contested. A 9-figure $100 million headline circulates via sources familiar with planning. A family representative counters not more than $15 million, both in reputable outlets. No audited total. What's firm? Multi-venue takeover, the marquee booking, aviation surge, political VIPs, couture. Perception, anchored by that $100 million, keeps the event atop most expensive lists. Production speaks a language others copy. Palace courtyards as runways, programmable facades, line array sound, IMAG camera lanes, tight show calling. The media doesn't just cover it, the night is directed for the media. So the question isn't whether this weekend was worth $100 million. It's whether the world would still be referencing it if the number had never been floated. The answer is on every list, in every roundup, in every headline that still uses Udaipur and Beyoncé as a single thought. Do you want the map of how Paris became a private stage and why Versailles turned from museum to engagement venue? Smash the like button now, and we'll unlock the 6-day takeover that wrote the first modern playbook. Venetia Mittal and Amit Bhatia. When Paris became a private stage, before Udaipur turned Sangeets into global headlines, Paris learned what it feels like to be rented. Jardin des Tuileries for the big party, the Palace of Versailles for the engagement, Château de Vaux-le-Vicomte for the vows, and because excess is an art form, a makeshift castle raised in Parc de Saint-Cloud. Versailles was the shock. Indian and global outlets framed the engagement as unprecedented. Guinness would later call it the only private function ever held there. Whatever the exact superlative, the signal was impossible to miss. Heritage access at sovereign scale, reframed as hospitality. Kylie Minogue delivered a private set. Reports from the week pegged the fee around £200,000. Bollywood stars, Shah Rukh Khan, Rani Mukherjee, Juhi Chawla, Saif Ali Khan turned segments into theater. including a Javed Akhtar scripted skit choreographed by Farah Khan. The night moved like a variety special with vows in the middle. Several retrospectives would add a flourish, guests watching fireworks over the Eiffel Tower. Mythic, maybe, but exactly the kind of image this wedding cultivated. Invitations arrived as 20-page keepsakes in silver cases. 5-star hotels were block-booked across the city. India's culinary heavy hitters, Hemant Oberoi, Muna Maharaj, ran kitchens more akin to touring operations than banquet prep. Dedicated shuttles, round-the-clock in-room programming, and a reenactment of the couple's courtship turned hospitality into narrative. Every transition, bus to balustrade, courtyard to chapel, was a shot list. Contemporary tallies landed around $55 to $60 million for the 6-day run. No audited ledger surfaced, but the figure crowned most expensive wedding lists for years, with Guinness recording the record status and Versailles moment as marquee facts. You can draw a line from Paris 2004 to the modern billionaire wedding. Architecture as costume, programming as serialization, spectacle engineered to travel. But Paris left one question hanging for the next decade. If you could commandeer a capital, what happens when you seal an entire fortress and make it your own stage? Petra, Eccleston, and James Stunt, when a Renaissance fortress became a festival. Bracciano, near Rome. Castello Orsini Odescalchi, a 15th-century stronghold already imprinted in pop culture from Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes, shuts its gates again. August 27, 2011 is the apex of a 3-day run that treats stone and sky like a private amphitheater. The guest list is compact, roughly 350, but precision cast. Paris and Nikki Hilton, Princess Beatrice, Princess Eugenie. Small on paper, huge in echo. Andrea Bocelli's voice lifts across a courtyard designed for armor. The Black Eyed Peas turn the keep into a dance floor. Some reports add Eric Clapton to the bill. Alicia Keys is cited at the rehearsal dinner. It reads like a festival lineup compressed into rooms that once staged sieges, not choruses. Design leans into the castle's silhouette. Service details signal the budget without ever saying the number out loud. Patrons at price points that would bankroll an entire small wedding. Bottles pegged at approximately $6,500. Pours timed to crescendos. The choreography is clean. Processions through vaulted entries, courtyard reveals, dinner under stone arches. Costs? Early US/UK coverage tossed around $5 to $6.5 million. Then, under oath, Bernie Ecclestone said the wedding cost in excess of £12 million, a figure that has since become the durable on-record number. Whatever the final ledger, the spend isn't hiding in the flowers. It's embedded in heritage access, headline booking, and the kind of perimeter that keeps a global tabloid lens outside the walls. Not city-scale like Paris 2004, but a sealed micro-festival with mythic props. The media doesn't have to invent anything. The ingredients are ready-made. Renaissance stone, household name performers, royal-adjacent seats, fireworks cracking over a lake. The production logic. Multi-day arc, marquee acts, fortress privacy, slides neatly into the 2010s and raises a question for the next wave. If a castle can be a concert, what happens when you move the stage to an island palace and hand the microphone to a pop star who closes stadiums? Sanjay Hinduja and Anu Mahtani, Jagmandir as a main stage. Udaipur again, but with a different pulse. February 2015 turns the Lake City into a 3-day circuit that begins on the 10th and builds toward a single undeniable image. Jagmandir Island Palace, glowing like a floating marquee as Jennifer Lopez closes the night on February 12th. The staging makes the geography read like choreography. The guest list is dense with Indian film and fashion. Preeti Zinta, Shilpa Shetty, Manish Malhotra, Sophie Choudhury, Raveena Tandon. Nicole Scherzinger takes a night, and Bollywood energy fills the gaps. Ranveer Singh and Arjun Kapoor turning the Sangeet into a show within the show. Lopez posts from Udaipur on arrival. By the time she hits the stage at Jagmandir, the storyline is already moving across feeds. Reports cite hundreds of charters inbound. Some tallies float appropriately 208 private jets. Working head count near 800 aligns with stronger dispatches from the weekend. Viral claims in the 5 figures feel like legend. What doesn't wobble is the infrastructure. 5 stars block booked, shuttle grids that run like tour ops, boats moving on precise loops, a staff cadence that keeps courtyards clearing and island seating snapping into place between queues. High-output lighting on palace facades, long sightlines across water, fireworks that bounce off stone and lake, stage decks and audio rigs sized for pop, not background bands. This is destination wedding iconography dialed to concert-grade clarity. Costs sit where private ledgers always sit, reported north of 100 crore rupees, which is $16 to $23 million in 2015, across credible outlets with no audited total, typical for this tier. The number matters less than the pattern it confirms. Palace complex plus island finale. Western headliner anchoring the arc. Logistics that move like a closed city. And just when Udaipur seemed to own the headline, Moscow answered with something no one expected. Not one global headliner, but 3, stacked into a single night like a private festival bill. Said Gutseriev and Khadija Uzhakova. The night of reception became a mini-festival. Moscow. Safisa, normally a luxury banqueting venue, retools into a proscenium under flowers. Ceiling draped in blooms, a tiered cake scaled like architecture, ballroom seating mapped with camera lanes. Then the sequence lands. Jennifer Lopez, Enrique Iglesias, and Sting. 3 arena names, 1 private night. Each delivers a self-contained set staged with touring logic. Line array sound, tight follow spots, choreography that reads clean on phones and broadcast lenses alike. It's unusual even at the highest tier. Weddings typically pick a single crown act. Here, the family programs a festival in miniature and compresses it into a room. The look is intentional. Guest videos show the floral canopy glowing like a sky, mirrored floors throwing the stage back at the audience. The couple's tableau sits at the center of a production that favors depth and height. Camera-friendly, poster-ready. Khadija's gown is cataloged across coverage as heavily embellished couture, a dress built to hold the light. Elise Saab is the name most consistently linked. Everything reads as scale, not stadium big, but concentrated. Prestige poured into a smaller glass. Multi-million pound becomes the safe phrase in mainstream reporting. Guest counts hover around 600, a working estimate, not an audited head count. And then the folklore, the infamous $1 billion wedding, repeated across lifestyle lists without a primary ledger to anchor it. In practice, that figure is myth-making, not math. The verifiable truths are sturdier and more interesting. 3 Western headliners in a single private program, a ballroom refit as a concert hall, decor and production treated as co-equal with ceremony. This wedding sharpens a question the next chapter answers with couture. If a ballroom can play like a concert, what happens when you take the guest list to Paris, dip it in high fashion, and land the ceremony inside a Renaissance fortress with Bocelli on the aisle and a 6-figure site fee just to unlock the gates? Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, the Paris-Florence fashion opera. This one wasn't built for headcount. It was built for frames. The week opens in Paris, where Valentino Garavani hosts a pre-wedding brunch at Chateau de Huideville, couture on couture in a setting that photographs like a campaign. That evening, the circle tightens at the Palace of Versailles for a private tour and dinner. Lana Del Rey singing into dusk while the palace glows for a guest list calibrated to fashion, music, and media. Then the scene shifts. About 200 guests board private jets to Florence for the ceremony on May 24, 2014. The venue, Forte de Belvedere, a 16th-century rampart locked down like a set. City officials later priced the site fee at roughly 300,000 euros for the weekend, before a single stem or speaker. Temporary privacy screens rise along the high walls. Security treats the fort like a film lot. Inside, everything feels quiet and measured. The aisle is music, literally. Andrea Bocelli's voice floats over the courtyard as Kim walks. Riccardo Tisci's custom Givenchy haute couture holds the light exactly as intended. Kanye wears Givenchy too, deliberate pairing, brand forward. For the first dance, John Legend performs All of Me, turning a radio staple into a private score. The long dinner table is its own statement, marble, near endless, photographed later at about 224 feet. Minimalist abundance framed by stone and sky. The wall of white flowers anchors the visual language, echoing a Mother's Day spectacle Kanye staged weeks earlier, motifs repeating across life and event. Lighting runs cool and clean, sightlines prioritize silhouettes and embroidery. No neon, no clutter. Just fortress geometry, couture proportion, and controlled bloom. Fans and media are held at distance. Phones are managed. The release windows are tidy. Guests move in compact waves. The ceremony holds its privacy without losing its broadcast value. Every sanctioned image looks pre-graded for gloss. This, more than anything, is the lesson. Celebrity weddings can trade scale for sharpness and win, and with that, the map is drawn. The pioneer who rented Paris, the Fortress Festival in Italy, the Island Palace under pop anthems, the Moscow Triad, the fashion opera across two capitals, the royal proof that security rewrites math, and the Udaipur night that set the modern bar. Next video. Inside the security machine, how ultra-rich weddings build invisible cities.